The intention here is clear. There is clear and deliberate targeting of the health system in the northern Gaza Strip. We don't know what they want from a hospital that provides humanitarian and health services to the needy.
Hello, my name is Stanley Heller. Welcome to the Struggle Video News. Miss Rachel continues her work for Palestine by producing and creating the video The Light of Palestine. Much of it consists of projections on buildings, bridges, and other structures in Brooklyn and in Los Angeles.
I am wearing this beautiful dress that has art from kids in Gaza. And I know all their names and stories: Luna, and Ahmed, Rama, Rana. Rana wanted to say, I want to tell the world that my sisters are not numbers. They are moons. They are like the stars. They shine and sparkle. They need food, it's being blocked. They need water, it's being blocked. They need to be in school, their schools have been bombed. The fact that they could have everything they need and it's miles away, that's what's so painful. Every day, kids message me voice memos. One little girl said, will you stay with me? I lost my whole family. And then Hinder Job's voice on the phone. I'll never forget. As grown-ups, it's our moral responsibility to make sure that children's rights are respected and that we raise our voices when they're not. 20,000 children have been killed in Gaza, and there's no accountability.
In its continuing war against the United Nations, Israel knocked down the building housing the United Nations Relief and Works Agency in East Jerusalem. Despite what it says, the Israeli government didn't own the land on which the building was located. It was leased from the country of Jordan. but Netanyahu and Trump do whatever they want. Amazingly, Israel is part of the UN, even though it ignores scores or hundreds of UN resolutions and decisions and kills UN aid workers. On January 20th, the Israelis killed 11 Palestinians and Egyptians in Gaza, including 3 reporters. This is what Israel calls a ceasefire. These are the reporters who were killed. They were in a truck labeled the Egyptian Committee. The reporters were preparing to film the opening of a new refugee camp in Gaza. 4 years ago, the beatings by Israelis at the funeral for American Palestinian reporter Shireen Abu Akleh caused shock. Nowadays, it wouldn't get a yawn. These are pages from a report by B'Tselem issued on the 20th, describing what it calls a living hell for Palestinians inside of Israeli prisons. B'Tselem is an Israeli human rights group.
כאן נדרשת מנהיגות, שינוי כיוון. ואני מברך את השר בן גביר שהוא הביא את זה.
מינימום של מינימום תנאים, אבל יש עוד משהו שחייבים לעשות. עונש מוות למחבלים.
להכניס מקל לרקטום של בן אדם, זה לגיטימי?
כן, אם הוא נוחווה, הכל לגיטימי לעשות.
אוקיי.
אהרון גם באגף אגף רקפת. עכשיו כמה הם מוגי לב. כמה הם מוגי לב.
Talking about the report, this newspaper in Britain, The Guardian, describes how a man who soldiers had raped bled from his rectum for weeks. The campaign to free Dr. Abu Safiya is working on an open letter signed by prominent people insisting for freedom for Dr. Abu Safiya and all the other medical workers taken and imprisoned by Israel. Nearly 100 people have signed, including doctors, lawyers, artists, ministers, Connecticut legislators, and a man who is president of a group that received the Nobel Peace Prize. See the names here. Tell legislators and media about this and ask them to raise their voices about this outrage. Free Dr. Abu Safiya. On December 27th of last year, the campaign had an online program where people read some of the last written comments of the doctor. We'll have selections.
First, we'll have Ghazwa. Ghazwa is a Jordanian Palestinian mother of 2 amazing boys. Her only wish is them living in a world where justice and peace are applied. Go ahead, Ghazwa.
The image is now famous. A man in a white coat walks alone through the rubble towards two tanks, his shoulders squared, steps resolute. The man, Dr. Hussam Abu Safiya, is a pediatrician and neonatologist from Jabalia who has served as the director of Kamal al-Adwan Hospital for almost a year. The scene is of a disappearance. On December 27, 2024, the Israeli occupation forces stormed Kamal Adwan and arrested Abu Safiya, along with hundreds of others. Then set the hospital ablaze. At the time of printing, there are no functioning hospitals in northern Gaza. The invasion followed 63 days of siege. On October 25th, the IOF raided the hospital, detaining 44 hospital staff members. The same day, Abu Safiya's teenage son Ibrahim was martyred in an Israeli drone strike while sheltering inside the hospital. Abu Safiya led the funeral prayers in the hospital courtyard, and as cameras rolled, accused the occupation of targeting his son in retaliation for his refusal to abandon his patients. Over the next 2 months, besieged and cut off the food and oxygen supplies. Abu Safiya and a small team were left to care for the wounded under the incessant fire of Zionist drones, tanks, and guns. It was the third time Kamal Adwan had been besieged and attacked since October 7th, 2023. What follows is a series of communiques sent by Abu Safiya to members of Doctors Against Genocide and healthcare workers for Palestine, either by text or by voice note during the siege. Some were sent in English, while others have been translated from the original Arabic. Several have been lightly edited for length and clarity. All communiques are published with the permission of their recipients. We share these messages to honor Dr.
Thank you, Ghazwa. Next up, we'll have Alice Robinson. Alice was born in New Haven and grew up overseas, including the Middle East. She has been involved with anti-war, anti-apartheid, and other human rights issues off and on since high school, and her current background is in public health. Alice is deeply concerned about the welfare of Dr. Abu Safiya and all other Palestinians illegally detained in Israel's torture prisons.
October 28th, 2024. Most of the specialized medical staff have been arrested, and only one other doctor and I remain. We both specialize in children's medicine. We are forced to provide surgical services without any capabilities. There are large numbers of wounded who need treatment intervention. Otherwise, we will lose at least one wounded person every hour. To the world, we need ambulances and delegations of surgical doctors. There are no ambulances in the north. In the absence of medical supplies and specialized medical staff, we will lose more wounded people. They can't be left to walk until they die in the streets.
I think there's still some more to go November 7th.
November 7th. The situation is still very difficult, and we are still trapped inside the hospital. No ambulances in the north because they are unable to reach us. Yesterday and the day before, buildings were bombed. Kamal Adwan was targeted directly and randomly, and crews were injured. November 9th. We urgently call for the provision of essential supplies and ambulance services, as well as the lifting of the siege on northern Gaza. We are witnessing cases of malnutrition and famine in the north. Northern Gaza is enduring genocidal war, and we, quite frankly, suffering in silence due to the crimes being inflicted upon us. Our healthcare system and the rights of our people are under severe threat, and we are in desperate need of medical support. There is an ongoing crisis in northern Gaza characterized by a systemic assault on our healthcare systems. Tragically, we are receiving distressing calls about individuals trapped under rubble, and we are powerless to assist them. They're trapped in dire circumstances, and today we mourn their loss as martyrs. This reality is unbearable.
Thank you so much, Alice. So next up, we'll have Justine McCabe. Dr. Justine McCabe is an anthropologist and psychologist who has done humanitarian work in the West Bank as well as Gaza, and is a member of the Middle East Crisis Committee. Go ahead, Justine.
Thank you. November 11th, 2024. I am speaking to you from the heart of the siege imposed on northern Gaza. The area is still devastated. We need ambulances to transport the injured, trapped under the rubble of their homes from disaster sites. We have received distress calls from multiple people. The next day, their voices were gone, and they were counted among the dead, with their homes becoming their graves. This scene is repeated daily. We cannot provide even a single meal to the patients, making their wounds take longer to heal. Nor can we offer a meal to the healthcare workers who work around the clock. We urgently call for immediate intervention by the international medical community. We demand a humanitarian corridor. November 19th. Sad thing I noticed, or maybe realized today. I was looking around for something to eat. I found some guy who sells falafel sandwiches. I noticed that he wrapped the sandwich with a book page, and I realized it was a medical text. I asked him about it. He showed me a pile of brand new books. I asked him if I could buy one. He then gave it to me for free. It is the one known copy of the medical textbook that teaches us how to treat children who have suffered blast injuries from bombs.
Next up, we'll have Ahmed Hamdan. Ahmed is a Palestinian-American human rights activist located in Connecticut. He has a master's degree in chemistry and has recently begun law school in an effort to translate his passion for social justice into a career where he can advocate for all marginalized people facing oppression. Go ahead, Ahmed.
November 22nd, 11:07 p.m. This attack is considered the second one in 24 hours. At least 3 bombs were dropped. One at the entrance to the reception and emergency wing. Doctors Nihad and Abu Umar al-Hawajri from Kamal Adwan Hospital were injured. Abu Umar died while attending. Dr. Saeed Juda was also hit. The intention here is clear. There is clear and deliberate targeting of the health system in the northern Gaza Strip. We don't know what they want from a hospital that provides humanitarian and health services to the needy. On November 23rd, Dr. Abu Safiya was wounded in an Israeli quadcopter attack while leaving the operating room. The injury to his upper thigh was extensive, with vascular damage and significant blood loss. That same night, the occupation targeted his daughter. She too was seriously injured, but survived. November 24th. This will not stop us. I was injured at my workplace, and that is an honor. My blood is no more precious than that of my colleagues or the people we serve. I will return to my patients as soon as I recover.
Thank you, Ahmed. Next section, we'll have John Capadona. John Capadona is a primary care physician who has been in practice for 40 years now, teaching resident physicians in primary care. He has held weekly vigils for the past year outside St. Francis Hospital in Hartford and Yukon Medical Center in Farmington, Connecticut. Go ahead, John. Just unmute, John. Should be at the bottom left of your screen. There you
go. Okay. December 1st, yesterday, 5 houses were bombed. More than 200 people inside, including children and women. Only 3 survived. The rest are trapped under the rubble. They were calling for help, but anyone who tried to assist was also bombed. Sadly, the cries for help have vanished. They were killed. This is a truly heartbreaking event that brings tears to my eyes. When I imagine this scene happening to my own family, what would I have done? The scene has become a daily reality and no one is held accountable. Yesterday, around 200 were martyred. Sadly, we have become mere numbers to the world. December 8th, indiscriminate shelling is preventing us from repairing the oxygen, electricity, and water networks. Bombardment and gunfire have not ceased. Planes are dropping bombs around the clock. A short while ago, the martyrdom of Dr. Saeed Judah was announced. December 14th, it was another difficult night. The use of exploding robots is new to us, and they are getting closer to the hospital every day. 3 explosive robots detonated yesterday, breaking the doors and windows of patient rooms. The sound was terrifying. This has become a daily routine.
Thank you for that, John. Next up, we'll have Reverend Ali Perry. The Reverend Ali Perry is a social justice activist and member of Shalom United Church of Christ and active with the UCC movement for Palestinian solidarity and apartheid-free communities. Go ahead.
December 18th. Yesterday marked one of the most challenging, one of the darkest, bloodiest days at Kamal Adwan Hospital. Fighter jets targeted the hospital and buildings in the vicinity. One of these buildings housed civilians seeking shelter, and people went out engulfed in flames, some tragically losing their lives. 8 martyrs. Children trapped beneath the charred debris. The situation became dire when, with no warning, bulldozers and tanks entered the area, firing directly at the hospital from all directions. The ICU on the West Wing was directly hit. We managed to miraculously evacuate oxygen cylinders. The isolation wing was completely burned by flames. Praise Allah that we were able to use blankets and our hands to put out flames, as we've exhausted all of our fire extinguishers. The scene inside the ICU resembled a war zone. Ours is the only ICU in the north. Gunfire has not ceased around the hospital. There is unprecedented sniping and shelling activity. Our hospital appears to be under constant threat, and its walls are riddled with bullets and shells, making it resemble a military target. It is a small and simple hospital providing humanitarian services. 9 days after this last message from Dr. Abu Safiya, 2 members of Doctors Against Genocide and Healthcare Workers for Palestine received the following message from Walid al-Budi, a nurse at Kamal Adwan Hospital.
Thank you, Reverend. And last up for the final section, we'll have John Fussell. John Fussell is a retired union organizer and labor attorney, is a board member of Palestine House Freedom, is a board member of We Will Return, and a MECC supporter. Go ahead, John.
December 27th, 2024. We are inside the hospital. We've been asked to go down into the courtyard. We wish everyone safety, and if we are fated to, we will return to you and speak to you in better times. Forgive us for our shortcomings. Now, that same day, December 27th, Zionist soldiers kidnapped Abu Safiya along with other members of the staff of Kamal Adwan Hospital. Some reports say there were dozens of abductions, other reports say hundreds. On January 3rd, the occupation admitted detaining Abu Safiya, contradicting an earlier statement in which the Israeli occupational forces claimed to be unaware of his case. The occupation further claimed that Dr. Abu Safiya is suspected of being a, quote, terrorist, unquote, and of, quote, holding a rank in Hamas. On January 4th, the occupation extended his so-called detention until February 13th. On January 7th, Abu Safiya's mother died of a heart attack. In August, this past August, his detention was extended for another 6 months under the catch-all measure, detention of unlawful combatants. There is no evidence that he was any kind of a combatant. He remains imprisoned by Israel. Dr. Abu Safiya must be freed. And on the day we record some good news, Federal Judge William Young, who we mentioned last week as declaring that the government had engaged in unconstitutional conspiracy against scholars and students standing up for Palestinians, has issued an order protecting those scholars and students. More about this next week. That's our program for today. I'm Stanley Heller for the Struggle Video News.